Generation 9 of Pokemon is finally here. Scarlet and Violet released this past Friday, and today I will be discussing my initial thoughts based on the time that I've played this weekend. These games had some of the most mixed reviews I've ever seen from this franchise. Following up after Legends Arceus was so well received from the community is no easy task. Now let's tackle the pros and cons. First and foremost, the new Pokemon designs are so good. Like, so good. I would say like 90% of them are just bangers. Some old Pokemon got reimagined, some familiar Pokemon got new cool evolutions. They're great. Don't even get me started on the Paradox Pokemon. My only complaint is that the late game legendaries are a little bit lame, but like I said, 90% bangers. Also, the starters' final evolutions are a little but we'll talk about that later. The textures look fantastic as well. Each Pokemon got a brand new coat of paint. Pineco looks like a pine cone. Seviper has scales. You can actually see tufts of fur on the Pokemon that have hair. And the level of detail is ever present in this game. Like, when it rains, the textures get wet. That's so cool. The plot is actually super solid. Technically, it's 3 separate plots that all intertwine into each other. The Victory Road storyline has you gathering gym badges once again, and those will allow you to control higher level Pokemon. There's the Team Star campaign, where when you beat a Team Star boss, you open up new areas. And following the Titan Pokemon storyline, you get new abilities for your motorcycle Pokemon, such as swimming, flying, and what I like to call Turbo Mode. I haven't finished any of them so far, but I've got to say that the Titan storyline has to be my favorite so far. The game is advertised as open world, meaning once you've left the tutorial area, you're free to explore the game at your own pace, going anywhere you'd like and doing whatever you want. That's almost true. Remember just a minute ago when I said progressing in the Team Star campaign unlocks new areas? And how I said defeating the Titan Pokemon unlocks new abilities? Well, the Team Star bosses are actually pretty difficult, so you'll need stronger Pokemon which require more gym badges, so you gotta kinda do that first, and there's this one spot in the map that requires you to be able to swim to reach it. So it's more of a suggested route rather than open world. The easier parts of the game are closer to Misc, which is the starting city, so there's somewhat of a natural linear path that the game wants you to take. Okay, I'm about to go off script for a moment. I'm about to talk about NPCs, but when I say NPC, I mean like the gym leaders and your rival. I'm not talking about the guy walking down the street deadpan being like, I shower with my Sudowoodo. Not that guy. The NPCs in this game are genuinely interesting. The headmaster has some unexpectedly funny moments, and the gym leaders are actually memorable again, each with their own personalities and interests, such as art and streaming. Your rival isn't an annoying pushover anymore. Hop. And trainer NPCs are less intrusive. They really enable the open world aspect because they don't ever initiate a battle unless you approach them and speak to them yourself. Even your mom is useful again, because if you call her, she'll teach you how to make a sandwich. Speaking of sandwiches, let's talk about picnics. Similar to camping in Pokemon Sword and Shield, you can set up a picnic to interact with your Pokemon on a deeper level. You can play with them, you can watch them for a little friendship and XP boost, you can even take selfies with them. But one of the best features in Picnic is the sandwiches. Different sandwiches will give you different kind of boosts, such as encountering more of a specific type in the wild, increased XP, maybe even finding more shiny Pokemon in the wild. And if you have 2 compatible Pokemon in your party, you could also find eggs in your picnic basket maybe. They just show up and hatch over time. I don't know exactly how the mechanic works just yet. All I know is that it's much easier and way more fluid than breeding in past games. There's a new Let's Go mode that allows you to send out the first Pokemon in your party to follow you. This feature is a fan favorite dating all the way back to Heart Gold and Soul Silver. This feature returns in the best way, allowing your Pokemon to not only follow you, but battle Pokemon quickly in the overworld. They will even pick up items that you may have missed along the way. Your partner Pokemon will not, however, fight shiny Pokemon under any circumstance, which is so nice. It feels like Game Freak actually considered the shiny hunters when they made this mechanic. Including the sandwich bonuses, shiny odds are roughly 1 in 512. But I've heard from different sources that they have been encountering up to 4 shinies per hour. I believe those odds are also included with the mass outbreaks that returned from Pokemon Legends Arceus, a widely beloved feature which allowed players to encounter large quantities of a specific Pokemon in short bursts. Many fans of the series, myself included, were surprised and delighted to learn that mass outbreaks have returned in this game. These games are actually difficult. I'm almost 27. I've been playing Pokemon since before I could read or write, and I'm not joking. These are some of the most difficult Pokemon games I have ever played. This is a good thing, because Game Freak has been trying to hold our hands for years. Linear maps, forced EXP share, laughably easy boss battles. They force legendaries on your team. I don't think I lost a single battle during Shield's story. But this game, Pokemon Violet, whooping my ass. I've lost to Team Star bosses. I've lost rival battles. I've lost to wild Pokemon. I lost to a random trainer. He had some crazy stat increase setup. The games hit you like a train if you're not prepared. I love it. I love it. Granted, I am a grown-ass man, so I'm not the target audience, but I really think it evens out, especially with the forced hand-holding I mentioned before. So it's a lot more difficult to just speed through the game blindly. The music. The music is fantastic. The battle theme, the gym theme, the legendary theme, the overworld music is dynamic. It changes depending on what part of the map you're on. It's incredible. Not you, but even that song isn't terrible. Toby Fox, famous for composing all of the music in Undertale, namely Megalovania, had returned to the Pokemon franchise to deliver some absolute bangers. If you don't own the games, please at least listen to the OST on YouTube. It's that good. I promise you will not regret it. I only have a couple more positive notes on these games, but none of them carry enough weight to have their own bullet points, so let's get into it real quick. The new Pokemon gas stations are really cool. They're always around when you need them, but they don't subtract anything from your experience, and they're much faster than Pokemon centers in the past. I actually want to battle and trade with my friends for the first time since Platinum, because the new Pokemon and version exclusives are so cool, especially the Paradox Pokemon. Rastalizing is a cool mechanic, albeit no Mega Evolution. I like the gimmick because it's giving your Mons a third typing. It's something that the fans have been dreaming about since the series' infancy. It isn't explained very well, but I'll get to that later. And for my final positive note, the box legendary that you get is actually really helpful. They never felt like a freebie Pokemon because they're not like actually on your team, but they feel like a helpful team member nonetheless. Their presence is never intrusive on your experience because the game makes you want to utilize your ride Pokemon to get around the whole time. With that being said, let's talk about the cons. The starter Pokemon's final evolutions dropped the ball so hard. We begged for Sprigatito's evolution to stay a quadruped. Quaxly's final evolution never stops dancing. Fuecoco's final evolution is fine, but the middle evolution is just Fuecoco with an egg hat. An egg hat! There was so much potential for these starters. Everybody's imaginations were running rampant. I can go on Twitter right now and pull up 17 different fan arts of reimaginings of the final evolutions that are way better than the ones that we actually got. This is the big one. I just named like 15 positive things about the game, but this section will level the playing field. To start us off, the game just does not run well. No matter what model of Switch you play the games on, they struggle to play even decently. Textures loading in slowly, lighting flickers inconsistently. My Switch sounded like a jet engine trying to render in 30 Houndour for the Team Star mission. The Switch cannot handle even early game story missions like this. I cannot imagine it's going to get any smoother as the game progresses. I wouldn't mind if the game ran at a minimum of 30 frames per second, which isn't even that impressive by today's standards, but that's the peak performance of Scarlet and Violet if you're lucky. Just entering a new area tanked my performance to like 15 frames a second or worse. The animations also feel really janky. Some of the plot felt like a college student's midterm project. The way the NPCs rotate and walk away from conversation is just unnatural. Mind you, this is the most profitable franchise in the world. I'm just glad there's nothing game-breaking or buggy about these games. So there are a few bugs. Let's just dive into a handful of them. If you connect two controllers, apparently you can just double your character's running speed. You can ride around in the overworld without your Ridemon. You can get your character stuck in emote mode. And you can skip large portions of the game by starting battles with Pokemon that should normally be out of your reach. The games haven't been out an entire week and they are held together by chewed gum and duct tape. Unfortunately, these issues are extremely distracting from the otherwise enjoyable experience, and they need to be addressed and patched as soon as possible. So they did actually patch the game on day one. Juber, did they give us set mode back? Did they optimize the graphics to not slow down the frame rate? Surely they fixed some game-breaking glitches with this patch. Nope. This patch shiny locked the legendaries. Instead of doing something useful, Game Freak took away some great shiny hunting opportunities. Most likely to feed these shinies back to us via GameStop promo or mystery gift in the future. But I just don't understand why they couldn't do something meaningful with this patch. There are people falling through the maps, and Game Freak is concerned with removing potential content and experiences from these games. My final few points are extremely minor, nothing as severe as game-breaking glitches. That being said, set mode is no longer an option, terastallizing is not explained very well, I'm nearly 20 hours deep and I don't fully comprehend how it works, and physical moves no longer make contact like in Pokemon Legends Arceus. The game's cut and dry simply feel unfinished. We can only pray that Game Freak addresses these soon. With that being said though, the games are fun. Like really fun. It would be an unmatched experience if they just ran well. Even the #1 competitive player in the world said that he can never go back to some of the older generations because Scarlet and Violet are just so good. That is crazy. Like I said, I haven't played all of the games yet, so I don't know everything that there is to know. I still gotta get back to it. I haven't talked about the Union Circle where you can play locally with your friends. I haven't talked about the gym challenges, which are actually really cool. They're just like little mini games. There's so much that I haven't covered, but these are just my initial bulk thoughts. Thank you for listening to them. I hope they influenced you in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, like always, thank you for watching and bye forever.